Hi, friends. Today I'm going to read That Rabbit Belongs to Emily Brown by Cressida, Cowell, and Neal, Layton. Once upon a time, there was a little girl called Emily Brown and an old gray rabbit called Stanley. One day, Emily Brown and Stanley were launching themselves into outer space to look for alien life forms when there was a rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat at the kitchen door. It was the chief footman to the queen, and he said, "The queen has very kindly noticed your rabbit. She would like to have that bunny-wunny, and in return she offers this brand new golden teddy bear." Emily Brown looked at the queen's teddy bear. It was stiff and gold and new, and it was horrible. It had staring eyes and no smile at all. "No, thank you," said Emily Brown. "This rabbit is not for sale, and his name isn't Bunny Wunny, it's Stanley." That's your part. And Emily Brown politely shut the door. Well, about an hour or so later, when Emily Brown and Stanley were riding through the Sahara Desert on their motorbike, there was a rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat at the garden door. It was the army, and the captain saluted and said, "Her Most Royal Highness Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown, and she would still like to have that bunny-wunny. In return, she offers her the brand new golden teddy bear and 10 talking dolls that say, 'Mama, Mama.'" Emily Brown said, I don't want 10 talking dolls. I want my rabbit. And his name isn't Bunny Wunny, it's Stanley. And Emily Brown sent that army away less politely this time. A few days later, Emily Brown and Stanley were deep-sea diving at the Great Barrier Reef when there was a rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat at the garden door. It was the Navy. The admiral saluted and said, "Her Most Royal Glorious Royalness Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown, and she would like you to hand over that rabbit of yours at your earliest convenience. She points out that she is the poshest person on the planet, and Bunny Wunny will be much better off with her. In return, she offers you the brand new golden teddy bear, 10 talking dolls that say, 'Mama, Mama,' and 50 rocking horses that will rock forever." Emily Brown said, "I don't care who she is. This rabbit belongs to me, and his name isn't Bunny Wunny, it's Stanley." And she sent that Navy away. Ooh, look at this. A few weeks later, Emily Brown and Stanley were climbing through the Amazon rainforest when there was a rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat at the garden door. It was the Air Force. The wing commander saluted and said, "Her Excellence, the most mighty Queen Gloriana III greets Miss Emily Brown, and she says she must have that bunny wunny right now, and she will not answer for the consequences. In return, we will give her a brand new golden teddy bear, 10 talking dolls that say, 'Mama, Mama,' and 50 rocking horses that will rock forever, and all the toys that she could ever desire." What do you think Emily Brown was going to say? No. Now Emily Brown was fed up. She sent that Air Force away, and she pinned a big note at that garden gate. It says, "This rabbit is not for sale, and his name is not Bunny Wunny, it's Stanley." Well, Time passed, and a few months later, Emily Brown and Stanley were laying fast asleep in bed, dreaming of all the adventures they would have the next day when there was absolutely no noise at all. Not at the door, not at the gate, not at the window. Oh my gosh, look. They say, shh. Silently in crept the Queen's special commander. And they stole that rabbit that belonged to Emily Brown. When Emily Brown woke up the next morning for the first time in her life, there was no Stanley. Emily Brown was so cross. She knew what had happened. She marched straight up to the palace on the hill. She knocked at that naughty queen's front door. Rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat. And Emily Brown ran into the palace, and there was a naughty queen crying like anything. The first thing she said was, oh, thank goodness you're here. Thank goodness you've come, Emily Brown. There's something wrong with Bunny Wunny. There was indeed something wrong with Stanley. That silly naughty queen had put him in the royal washing machine all night, and he'd come out an odd pink color. The royal dressmaker had stuffed him full of stuffing, and his ears wasn't so flippity-floppity anymore. And worst of all, they had sewn up his mouth where Emily Brown had picked it away, and Stanley wasn't smiling anymore. Stanley was miserable. Oh, Emily Brown. Emily Brown, is there anything you could do? Said the queen. There certainly is, said Emily Brown. I shall take Stanley home. The queen started crying harder than ever. Oh, I have all the toys in the world, but none as nice as Stanley. Emily Brown felt sorry for the queen. So she went into her royal toy cupboard and she took down that brand new golden teddy bear and she placed it on the queen's lap. Aww. Emily Brown whispered so that nobody else could hear. She said this. She said, you take that brand new teddy bear and you play with him all day. You sleep with him all night. You hold him very tight and be sure to have lots of adventures. And then maybe one day you'll wake up and he'll be a real toy of your own. And Emily Brown and Stanley, they went home. Marching out of there. That was the last Emily Brown and Stanley heard from that silly naughty queen for quite some time. But one day, a couple of months later, as Emily Brown and Stanley were exploring the outermost regions of the Milky Way, there came a rat-a-tat-tat, rat-a-tat-tat at the kitchen door. It was a mailman with a letter for Emily Brown, and it just said, thank you.